The Dodge Viper was first conceived as an idea in the mid-1980s and introduced as a concept in 1989. And the response from the public was so positive that they decided to put this car into production, and the Dodge Viper was born. So what I want to do in this video is take the original Dodge Viper from 1989 and 1990 and modernize it into something that could be built today. The thing with the Dodge Viper though is that I think the last model year, which is 2017, they did a really good job of modernizing this car. And what I mean by that is the proportions have stayed the exact same throughout almost 30 years. And that is almost unheard of in the car industry. So if you look at the original Dodge Viper Coupe right here, and then we transform into the 2017 model, you can see that only the things that change are only the graphics of the car. So when we redesign this car now, that's something we can't touch. We can't touch the proportions of the car because this is the only way a Viper has ever been done. But I think the last 2017 is a really good modernization of the original one, but I want to do my own, and I want to show you the unique proportions of the Viper here. So for example, have a look at the total length of the car right here. If we put out a line like this and have a look at where the greenhouse is positioned here, and specifically the A-pillar, is it closer to the front or is it closer to the rear of the car? So when you think about that, think about how much space or how much of the length of the car is taken up by the hood of the car. So let's put out a marker here for the A-pillar right here, and we can see that it's actually closer to the rear than it is to the front, and that is how long this hood is. It feels like it stretches out for miles in front of the windscreen right here. And you can also see the very rounded curvature of the glass, and what this does, it makes it look like the greenhouse is way further back, but in reality it starts right here. But since the graphics of the A-pillar isn't following this line of the roof line all the way down here, it dips earlier. That means that we get this very aggressive look, and it's borderline weird looking because of how far the greenhouse of the Viper actually is. But of course, we can't touch the proportions of this car. That is out of the question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 3/4 rear view and play around with it, have some fun, and get rid of this 90s bubbliness and roundness that is typical for this type of era, and sharpen it up a little bit, work with the graphics, have some fun, and let's see what comes out. modernization of the original Viper GTS. What I wanted to do here was to keep the extreme proportions of the original Viper, but remove the 90s bubbliness of it. I think the 2017, it does a good job of that, but it's still a little bit too... I think some of the aggressiveness in the 2017 was lost if you compare it to the 2000 model, for example. And I want to bring that back and also simplify the graphics of the car. And if you watched my videos before, you know that I'm a fan of a framing of the rear and the back end. And I mean, the Viper is it gives you it for free, basically. If you look at the rear end of the Viper, and with this integrated massive wing here that they have in the rear, that goes down on the sides and create these almost air outlets or intakes on the side of the car. So it's almost already there. I just wanted to emphasize it even more and have that continue underneath the car. And I was thinking either I add some diffusers in the bottom of the car here, or I keep it like it is right now, because I love the way the stripes, these stripes, they show you the shape of the underneath of the car, and it creates this very, very sporty, low look of the rear, and I love that, and that's why I didn't want to replace that with some random diffusers that they have on the 2017 model, which is not a bad look, but it's just not original enough for me to keep on the Viper. And these wheels, I'm a fan of them. I'm not really a fan of the chromey look of it, and specifically the gray outline outline of the rim. So that's what I wanted to change with the wheels. I made them all black. I think that looks a lot better and suits this car a lot better as well. I had, as you could see throughout this redesign, there was a lot of issues with the taillights. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the taillights. If I wanted to keep them just a simple slit like this, or if I wanted to have them like they are right now, which is closer to the 2017 model. And honestly, you might not believe this, but I did not look at the 2017 model when I was doing this. I only looked at it once I was done with this entire redesign, and then I noticed, like, wow, this really, really looks like the 2017 model, which in my opinion is only only proof that I think the 2017 model is a really, really good modernization design-wise of the original car. But overall, Dodge Viper, I think it's one of the most underrated sports cars throughout time, specifically when it comes to design, because it's such a cool design. It looks like you're sitting on the rear axle, and it looks so planted, this car, specifically with the correct wheels. I'm not a huge fan of the 3-spoke wheels that they had in the mid-90s, I think, to the late 90s. But if you put some really cool wheels on it, maybe drop it down an inch or so, it becomes just one of these super planted looking cars. And I also wanted to add some new thing to this design, and that is the rear fender. So I wanted to add almost like a wide body kit that is factory. So you see this line that goes into the rear lights. I want that line to continue into the front air outlet there, and in this you have a difference in width, how far the fender sticks out, if that makes sense. So it's almost like an integrated wide body kit for the car, but I think it looks really good, and it kind of ties the side together and removes that. If we didn't have that, we would have a smooth surface going from the top of the fender all the way down, and I wanted to add some definition or some defining lines in there, and I think it looks fantastic. Other than that, it was all about sharpening up all the lines and sharpening up all the radiuses as well, specifically in the rear. So I worked with the stripes here to make them more sharp and not so smooth as we have on the 90s model. I'm TheSketchMonkey. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to hit the like button. It really means a lot to me and to the YouTube algorithm as well, of course. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.